Welcome back. The House of Representatives Committee on Federal Capital Territory has submitted a report of its investigation into the alleged irregularities surrounding the Centenary project to the House. In the report, the committee indicted the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator Pius Anyim, and the former FCT Minister, Senator Bala Mohammed, for their roles in the management of the project. The report states that Senator Anyim applied for a certificate of occupancy and awarded a contract on behalf of a company for the relocation of 330 kV DC transmission lines across the proposed city. However, the report is yet to be considered and adopted by the House of Representatives. But in a separate document authored by a member of the committee, Representative Linus Okorie, the allegations of corruption and abuse of office made by Senator Anyim against the chairman of the committee, Herman Hembe, during the public hearing were not reflected in the report. The lawmaker also claims that the recommendations in the committee report were at variance with the findings of the committee. Over 30 communities in Orumba, North and South local government areas of Anambra State and another community in neighboring Abia State will benefit from the 10 megawatts electrification project of the Anambra State government. Covering over 47 kilometers, the project runs from Oji River to Orumba, supplying power to the benefiting communities for a minimum of 18 hours daily.
Men, women, youths, dance group and government officials all gathered at this venue for the commissioning of Orumba Electrification project by Governor Willie Obiano. It is a day of joy for these communities as the State Commissioner for Public Utilities discloses that the project covers over 47 kilometers from Oju River to Orumba, and it is a dedicated fender line that is exclusive to 3 communities.
More than 47 kilometers, that is the distance, and it's a dedicated line.
The Director of Operations in Enugu Electricity Distribution Company commends Governor Obiano for this initiative.
It's not always that you have a governor that understands the fundamental importance of government and private sector partnership in social and economic development. You happen to be a scholar in that discipline, and I want to commend you. As I was coming along, I saw all the light bulbs were on. We have to begin to educate ourselves on energy conservation.
The governor tasked the citizens to take ownership and safeguard the installation.
Most of you, as I was told, have not had light in the past 11 years. Some have had partial lights in the last 4 years. Partial meaning it may come in today, then in another 6 months you see another flash and that kind of thing. And I'm happy that ENEC, it's not me that said it, ENEC has promised you 18 hours of light a day. The average in Nigeria is less than 18 hours, it's about 10, 12 hours, but we are getting 18. This is very important.
It is expected that these projects will improve electricity supply by Enugu Electricity Distribution Company to these communities.
And on the programming notes, we will be bringing you a 30-minute feature on former President Olusegun Obasanjo's Presidential Library as part of the events marking his 80th birthday celebrations. The program comes up tonight at 11:30. Please join us then. More the news at 10 now with Imana Amawe, who has business news.
You first. First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. To further ease the pressure on forex transactions, the Central Bank of Nigeria plans to release an additional $350 million to the interbank forex market through its special wholesale intervention forward sales this weekend. The expected release will bring the total amount supplied this week to $570 million. CBN spokesman Mr. Isaac Okorafor says the intervention is expected to lift the naira further and that the regulator is determined to make forex available to all genuine customers through their banks. The CBN last weekend injected $770 million into the interbank market and sold an additional $180 million to commercial banks on Monday in a bid to boost forex liquidity. And the latest survey by one of Nigeria's investment banks, Stanbic IBTC, reveals that activity in Nigeria's private sector expanded for a second straight month in February, driven by a rise in new businesses despite a fall in export sales. According to Stanbic IBTC's data, Nigeria's Purchasing Managers Index rose to 52.2 last month after rising to 51.9 in January, the strongest reading since December 2015. The Stanbic IBTC report indicates that an overall increase in new businesses led to a rise in purchasing activity as companies added to their inventory at a faster rate. On Wednesday, Central Bank's PMI report said private sector activity slowed in February as new orders and production levels fell due to a shortage of hard currency. And Nigeria's stock market managed to close Friday's trading session in the green, reversing the big loss recorded on Thursday by 0.73%. BC Adebayo has a summary of the day's transactions.
An increase in activity and the upswing in the share prices of Nestle and some other bellwethers boosted the all-share index by 73 basis points back above the 25,000 level at the close of Friday's trading. This was also consolidated by the positive market breadth of 16 losers against 8 losers on the price table. With a 16.18% drop in its share price, United Capital emerged as the biggest loser, followed by 7-Up and Custodian and Allied. On the flip side, Nestle, which saw no activity on the share price on Thursday following the release of its 2016 earnings, led the gainers by a whopping 10.25% increase. For 3 financial stocks, Zenith, Sterling Bank and Ecobank Transnational were in the lead on the activity chart. Overall, investors exchanged a higher turnover of 274.17 million shares worth 3.39 billion naira in 2,856 deals. And that's it on the stock market reports. I am BC Adebayo.
Thank you, BC. In the meantime, U.S. stocks opened lower earlier today, but ready to close another record-breaking week. For more details on Wall Street is VOA Channel's TV business correspondent, Joe Malandrino from the NASDAQ market site in New York.
U.S. stocks opened slightly lower on Friday morning, although we are still on track to close higher for the week, which will be the 6th week in a row. The S&P closes lower today, though it would be the first back-to-back loss since the end of January. But let's put some things into context and see where we're coming from. Just this week, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed above the 21,000 mark. It topped over, surging 300 points on Wednesday, which took only 24 trading sessions to go to 21,000 from 20,000, the second fastest 1,000-point move in the Dow. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ comp also closed at record highs, their 21st record and 28th record close, respectively. Again, that was on Wednesday. And this is all since the election of Donald Trump to the U.S. presidency. So, as you can see, a pullback is not an unhealthy thing, as investors are wisely taking some profits off the table. It could also offer investors more attractive entry points for those that missed out on some of the rally. Today, traders will wait to hear from Janet Yellen and other Federal Reserve officials looking for confirmation of a March interest rate hike. A rate hike now appears to be viewed by many investors as a vote of confidence in the economy, as opposed to the past, where it was seen as a potential market derailment. The futures market now prices in about a 77% chance of that rate hike. Note that the all-important employment report comes out next Friday. This will be the last major piece of jobs data before the FOMC meeting on March 14th and 15th. From the NASDAQ market site in New York, I'm Jill Malandrino, and this is VOA Channel's Business News.
Now, chances of an interest rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve later this month and tension between China and South Korea pushed major world markets in mixed directions on Friday amid record performances this week. Let's take a look at their closing figures. And that's Business News Tonight. I'm Emana Amawe. The News at 10 continues.
You first. First Bank.
OVH Energy Marketing licensee of Obiano retail brand is spreading the message of the use of cooking gas through youth. It's at its grand finale of O Gas Teens Can Cook competition. Students use the domestic gas to showcase their talents. OVH Energy Marketing says LPG is not harmful to humans and the environment.
Okay, in another 1 minute we get started.
All Gas Teens Can Cook competition started 3 years ago. It's an initiative to develop the culinary skills of youths. Emphasis is on cooking clean and leaving the environment and humans unharmful with the use of domestic gas.
Kerosene is the fuel that is used in weak lamps for lighting and is poured into stoves for cooking. It is often stored in containers that can be mistaken for beverages, putting children at risk of poisoning.
When you burn LPGs, it releases 50% less than CO2, and LPGs help in less environmental pollution.
Without smoke or sweat, the competitors add up their ingredients and finally the meal is ready. Emotional Emanuela Wallison becomes the grand winner of the finale. Organizer of the event, OVH Energy Marketing, the licensee of Obiano retail brand, is confident that the competition will spread the message of cooking clean faster.
We know that quite a number of the population, sensitive number of the population, cook with dirty fuels like kerosene, firewood, sawdust, and these are things that have harmful effects both on human and the environment. So, however, we have abundance of LPG in Nigeria.
We wanted to see the interest that will be shown by all stakeholders. We felt that we can't just switch the country without catching the teenagers in terms of letting them understand the benefits of LPG.
So far, the August Teens Can Cook has spread to 5 regions of the country, and the organizers hope that it will spread to other parts of the country in no distant time.
Nigeria telecommunications giant MTN has pledged to help in ending youth unemployment in the country, which is a major challenge for graduates. The director of the foundation, Mrs. Aishatu Sadauki, made the pledge during the MTN Science and Technology and Blind Student Scholarship Scheme in Abuja. Our correspondent, Gloria Umezuke, reports.
Unemployment in Nigeria is one of the most critical problems the country is facing. This is the reason behind the MTN Foundation Science and Technology, as well as the Blind Student Scholarship Scheme. The director of the MTN Foundation clearly pointed out that the unemployed graduates is of utmost concern for the company.
With over 16 billion naira invested in over 500 project sites spread across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, we continue to strive to put smiles on the faces of people in communities throughout Nigeria.
Various speakers gave motivational talks to inspire the graduates. In a no-holds-barred session, some of them asked questions critical to their development.
On the matter of stigmatization to persons with disability, what can it be done since there is no law that is backing us constitutionally?
The one thing you need to do is believe in yourself, overcome the stigmatization, and then you will find that you will encourage others to do the same.
If you go to our primary schools, the blind schools, computers are not there. In which way can the government be of assistance? In as much as the government ought to provide the regulatory environment and the policy framework for people to actualize themselves. We as individuals should make our choices and determine where we want to go.
An official launch of the Alumni Association with the 169 graduates here signaled more commitment by the telecommunications giant.
We do this because it aligns
with our mission to improve the quality of life in the areas of health, education, and economic empowerment on a sustainable basis. So I urge you, as MTN Foundation ambassadors, to carry the flag high.
Thousands of Nigerians have so far benefited from the annual scholarship scheme, and the company says it is looking to do more in 2017. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Still ahead of the news at 10, the International Olympic Committee probes bribery claims against former Namibian sprint and IOC member Frankie Fredericks. To stay with us, it's coming up in sports news.